pleasure to introduce to you the man of the hour, Tony.
Hello and welcome back to At the Gates. It's been a while, doing those videos. So this is an audio only again. It's nice to have the podcast back, I guess. Just in time for the last game of the year for the Twins. Originally, we weren't really planning on it being the last game because we thought that there was going to be a lot more October baseball, but the only October baseball is the regular season. The last 3 games against the Royals, and I'm going to 2 of them. Well, I've been to 1 of them, and now it is Sunday, October 3rd, and the season is in its dying breath. 1 more game left. Just outside of Kauffman. This is becoming my second home. This is my second trek down here for the year. So I got to see 3 games at Kauffman this year, which never done that before. That was pretty cool. Just all in all, yesterday was a bit weird. Did the early entry and there was no BP because there was a slight rain shower that came through, and also end of the year, so it's not like guys are really excited to take BP anyways. So that was a bit damp. No pun intended, but I guess I did that. But still ended up with 5. So my overall for the year is at 287. I think I'm going to fall just short of 300. That wasn't my goal before the season, but the only goal that I had was to break my old record of 253, which, let me do the math. Yep, did that. But it would have been nice getting this close to hit that new threshold of 300, but I'm not going to complain too much. This season has been excellent, both for me and for baseball, because baseball has been back. We haven't had to get the fans out of the stadium and had a full season of contests, and that's more than we could ask for judging on what happened back in 2020. And yeah, I mean, it feels a little surreal. Hopefully tonight, today, this afternoon, I'm kind of hoping that Twins are going to be generous with some of their equipment, because I go for things like that. It's fun, and going to be sitting in the Crown Club right next to the dugout, so that really helps. And they didn't get to do that at their final home game because the home game was on a Thursday night, and they had to fly down here to Kansas City, and also it was a bit of a tough loss. And then also with the COVID restrictions, it only made sense that it was pretty much get done with the game and go right into the dugout and right onto the plane. Don't fault them for that, especially with, like I said, the COVID. You got to be careful still, and last thing that they want would be to kind of delay the season even more and either have to forfeit the last few games or do whatever they would have to do in order to get those games in. Some other exciting news, but I don't know if I can share it quite yet. Maybe I'll do that at the post-game recap with Robbie, because he was there too. But that's right, got to meet up with Yost and his wife Katie, and then TK and Renee, and also Nick Batters last night. So it was a nice little, I felt at home. I felt like I had some friends at the ballpark, and also another guy with his son here, who's from the Missouri, the greater Kansas City area. Said he's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, just south of Joplin, and met him last time I was here back in, what was that, June or July or whatever it was. And so I got to talk to him at the gates for a while too, so it felt like I'm building a small retirement home down south in Kansas City. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm holding off on giving too much information because there's still the end of the game, and I want to give a good end of the year recap. I want to do all of that kind of stuff, and who knows what that's going to mean. Also, apparently with Crown Club access, normal gates are at 12:30 for the 2 o'clock game, but I might be able to get in at 11. So if you're doing Crown, get over to that gate, because I never knew about that. I thought it was just enter at regular, but if I can enter that early, I am not going to pass that down. That's huge. So on that note, I think let's leave it there. I'm going to kill the next 10 to 15 minutes and hopefully get inside the gates, and who knows, maybe I'll even do a little bit of podcasting in between my videography and my shooting that I'm going to be doing inside. Keep you posted. And again, thanks for listening. Okay. Sorry for the long pause, which wasn't actually long on your end, but more on my end. It is now Monday night, and I am back from Kansas City, which means that the 2021 regular season is done and over. And for me, the baseball season, unless I get really lucky and can travel somewhere to see a playoff game, which I'm not expecting, it's finished. That's it. I only got 2 balls today, on Sunday, which is a little bit strange, but when there's no BP and when I was only really in the luxury area, the Crown Club, that happens. I wasn't expecting big things, and I really wasn't pushing myself. If I really wanted to, I probably could have tried to get at least 2 more, but I was far enough away from 300 that it wasn't going to make a big deal. So I ended the season with 289 balls. That's in 45 games plus 2 workouts. And I'll go through the rest of the stuff that I wrote down. I got 3 bats, 2 of them from Miguel Sano. One of those bats I just got on yesterday, so it was pretty cool. He gave out a bunch of his stuff, and I was lucky enough to go home with one of his bats, and it's one of his actual models of bats. And it's also signed, because one of the guys down there that also got a bat, he had a nice red marker that looked really sharp and had the bat signed. The other bat that I got from Miguel was a Nelson Cruz model, which is really, really, really cool. That bat at the Twins store, and I believe it was used actually by Nelson, at least that's kind of what it looks like. That bat was going for $750, I believe. So, that's obviously it wasn't sold, so maybe it's not worth that much, but it's a cool enough collector's piece. I don't really care about value because it's not going to be sold, but it's just kind of incredible to see when someone puts a price tag on something that you got for free. And the last of the 3rd bats is from Keon Broxton that I got at one of those workouts. It is about 80 to 85% of a bat. It's missing the lower part of the handle, but the full barrel and part of the shard that goes down to the handle is there, and it's kind of a cool piece, especially because I've never got a bat that's been completely sawed off like that. Have 1 or 2 that are cracked bats, like the Miguel / Nelson Cruz bat that I have, but none of them completely shattered like that, so kind of cool. Let's see what's next on the list. The hats. I have 2 of them. Again, I got one at Kansas City on the last game of the year. Nick Gordon was coming in, and I asked him for his hat, and he tossed that to me. I would tell you what size he is, but I don't know because the sweatband part of the hat was completely cut off. So I can tell you this. It is much smaller than 7 5/8, which is my head. I got a big noggin, which means that there's a lot of brain, obviously. Then the other hat that I have is from June, and it wasn't actually a MLB game, but it was something that was played at Target Field, and that was from the Joe Mauer Home Run Derby, and it's from Trevor Plouffe. It's signed on the side, and it was nice and sweaty and kind of gross when I got it, but it's obviously since dried out. I mean, it's been close to 4 months now, but he wore that hat as he won the Home Run Derby, so that's something pretty cool, especially getting it from your favorite player who is retired but is now a media guy. So shout out to him and John Boy. Obviously they're doing big things. Then I got one pair of batting gloves that was on the same day that I got the Nelson Cruz model bat from Miguel. So he gave me the bat, and I was kind of in shock. And then I thought he went all the way into the dugout, but he kind of peeked out and ended up tossing his batting gloves and scared the crap out of me, and luckily picked those up too. And then finally, 7 lineup cards, and they are of varying size and purpose. So the ones that you can kind of buy through the team store, those bigger ones that are either hanging up in the dugout, or usually they also have one in the bullpen sometimes. I got one of those, and that's actually from Salem Field, and got that from the Orioles. So that's big ups to the Orioles. They were super nice to me this year, and it's really cool having something from a stadium that got not even a half year's worth of use. So for a month or two, it being host to the Toronto Blue Jays, kind of cool, especially because it definitely says on there, Salem Field, Buffalo, New York. Major league game, kind of very unique. Then I got 2 of those medium size. They kind of look like the bigger ones, but just shrunk down. They are the bullpen versions. Got one at Guaranteed Rate Field, and that was from the Royals, and then one at Target Field, and that was from the Tigers. So I guess I've been big, at least in those 3, getting the away team's lineup cards, which if you are going to do, I would say your best bet is actually with the visiting team. Home teams either get harassed for them way more, or oftentimes are harder to just flag down or harder to get access to. So little tip, go for the away team, wear their stuff, and if they see you enough, or if you make a good impression, you might just go home with something other than a baseball. Then I got 4 umpire lineup cards, and they were both, it was 2 pairs of cards. One for the Twins-Jays game that I went to, and then the game 2 days later, and that was my... Okay, this doesn't really make sense. I went to 2 games, and I got these lineup cards, both of my 2 games in a row. The Twins-Jays on, I believe, I don't know what day, it doesn't really matter. But I got Twins-Jays and then Twins-Tigers. They weren't back-to-back games for the Twins, but they were for me. That make more sense? Sure. Those were both in September, so it was nice to add some non-baseballs to the collection. And, I mean, September is... Things are winding down. It's been a long year. If teams are out of it, attendance is way lower in those markets, and again, go for basically the non-home team, whether that's umpires or the away team. It's just, there's a lot less people trying to get their attention. So That's it. Second recap: 289 balls, 3 bats, 2 hats, 1 pair of batting gloves, and 7 lineup cards in 45 games and 2 workouts. That's my year. That's 2021 in a nutshell. I have really big plans for 2022, but that really depends on if there's going to be a lockout. Is there a strike? Are they going to be able to negotiate before the season starts? I hope so. I mean, both sides lost a lot of money and a lot of time and kind of really a lot of bargaining power because of COVID. I don't see where MLB can really afford to mess this up, especially with other markets, other teams, not teams, but other sports like hockey or basketball, football. I mean, viewership is down across the board, and baseball is too, but if baseball's smart, they see that this is an opening, and all you can do is focus on yourself, so don't screw it up. Play the games as advertised. Don't lock out. Don't look greedy on either side. And I lean towards obviously the side of the players because they deserve that. They're not the billionaires. They're potentially the millionaires. So they are the smaller guys in the two. Root for David over Goliath, but still in this, we don't need David and Goliath fighting. We need them to get along, because if we want to see this sport grow and maybe even take back some of that market share and compared to other sports, the only thing that they can make sure is don't mess it up by locking it out, and then after that, start not messing it up by not getting too cute with rules and getting too cute with changes. And if you're looking to speed up the game, find real ways of doing that, not gimmicks, but long-lasting things that still are true to the history of the game, but can bring it to the 21st century. So I think that's really it. It doesn't feel real. It's a bit sad, but this has been my biggest year. I mean, 289 balls, 278 of those during the regular season / at real MLB games. That beats my 252 back in 2017 easily, and this is also easily the most games that I've been to in 1 year, and it doesn't feel like it. I'm not burnt out like in past years. Maybe that's because 2020 was a lost year, so I'm hungrier for this year, or have more appetite, or have more ability to, but whatever the reason, it's been good. I think this is my second win. As much as I wanted to be, not wanted, but thought I was going to be done after 1,000 balls, it's obviously I'm not, and I ain't sorry. So I'll stop rambling. 2021 is in the books. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if you have any suggestions as what I should do in 2022, if you want me to visit your ballpark, or if you want to watch a game with me, let's make that happen. That's it. Thank you, baseball. See you in April.